Welcome to Important Updates, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you are new here, do not forget to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an update. What's something people don't know about the escalating rivalry between America and China? The relationship between America and China has long shaped the global landscape, influencing economic policies, international relations, and even cultural exchanges across the world. For years, they were bound by trade and mutual interests, partners and competitors at once. This complex dynamic fostered innovation and growth, driving the global economy forward. This uneasy balance lifted millions from poverty and kept prices low worldwide, creating a consumer-driven market that benefited both nations and their trading partners. But by 2025, the partnership had unraveled, with tensions escalating over trade imbalances, intellectual property disputes, and geopolitical strategies. Competition intensified, trust eroded, and America now saw China as a strategic rival. This shift marked a significant turning point in international diplomacy. The language shifted from cooperation to confrontation, dividing the world. Nations were forced to reconsider their alliances and strategic partnerships. This rivalry is about more than two countries. It's a clash of visions for the global order, with each nation advocating for its own model of governance and economic management. America champions democracy and free markets. China promotes state control and sovereignty. These differing ideologies have profound implications for global governance. The world is caught in the middle, alliances more complicated than ever. Countries must navigate this new landscape carefully, balancing economic interests with political ideologies. America decided to take a stand, especially on technology and trade, aiming to protect its interests and maintain its influence on the global stage. But it knew it couldn't act alone. It needed allies. Building coalitions became crucial to counterbalance China's growing influence. This set the stage for a major diplomatic test of American influence, as it sought to rally support from traditional allies and forge new partnerships. The world was about to choose sides in a new era of great power competition, where the stakes were higher than ever, and the outcomes uncertain. America's request was clear and unequivocal. It wanted other nations to join in imposing stringent economic sanctions on China, a move that could reshape global trade dynamics. Sanctions, bans on trade, freezing assets, restricting technology, are powerful tools designed to pressure countries without resorting to war. They can cripple economies and force policy changes. Washington accused China of leveraging its tech companies for espionage and intellectual property theft, a claim that has been echoed by several other nations. America was particularly concerned about the advancements in AI, quantum computing, and the expansion of 5G networks, fearing these technologies could be used for surveillance and control. It argued that China's government unfairly subsidized its companies, creating an uneven playing field and threatening global competition and innovation. Beyond technology, America cited a range of unfair trade practices, including barriers to U.S. goods and the dumping of cheap products abroad, which undermines local industries. The ultimate goal was to force China to adhere to international rules and defend a rules-based order that ensures fairness and transparency. America framed this as a pivotal choice between a world governed by laws and one ruled by sheer power and influence. By rallying its allies, it hoped to isolate China diplomatically and economically, applying pressure to encourage a change in behavior. The message was clear: the international community must not tolerate Beijing's aggressive and unfair behavior. But the pressing question remained: would the world unite in this effort? The answer would reveal the true state of global alliances and the willingness of nations to stand together for a common cause. America launched a quiet but intense diplomatic campaign, working behind the scenes to build a coalition. This was not a public spectacle, but a carefully orchestrated effort, with every move calculated for maximum impact. Top diplomats were dispatched to capitals across Europe, Asia, and beyond, targeting 27 key partners whose support would be crucial. These visits were more than just formalities. They were urgent missions, each one designed to sway opinions and secure commitments. The message was clear and direct: stand with us against China. But beneath those words lay a complex web of interests and concerns. America used a mix of persuasion and pressure, sharing sensitive intelligence and economic data to make its case. Officials revealed classified information, hoping to convince allies of the urgency and gravity of the situation. the US appealed to shared values, democracy, freedom, and the rule of law, while also highlighting practical interests like security and prosperity. These conversations were as much about ideals as they were about real-world consequences. In Europe, the focus was on major powers and the European Union, where unity would send a powerful signal. In Asia, attention turned to close allies like Japan, South Korea, and Australia, whose positions could tip the balance. Arguments were carefully tailored, security threats and military risks for some, economic dangers and trade disruptions for others. Each country received a message crafted to resonate with its unique concerns. The underlying message was unmistakable. Failing to support the US could strain bilateral ties, potentially affecting everything from defense agreements to economic cooperation. Many countries faced a tough choice: America as their long-standing security ally, or China as their top trading partner. The stakes were high and the consequences uncertain. The campaign forced governments to weigh loyalty against national interest, and to consider the risks of alienating either superpower. Behind closed doors, debates grew heated and decisions became more difficult. For some, the cost of choosing sides was simply too high. The fear of economic retaliation or diplomatic fallout loomed large, making neutrality seem like the safest option. America's push revealed the complexity of today's alliances, where old loyalties are tested by new realities. The world's network of relationships is more tangled than ever before. The world was no longer split into simple camps. Instead, it had become a landscape of shifting alliances, overlapping interests, and difficult choices. The moment of truth had arrived. Each nation now faced a defining decision, one that could shape the global order for years to come. Despite America's push, most of the 27 countries refused to sanction China. The main reason: the economic cost was too great. China is the hub of global supply chains and a vital market for exports: German cars, French goods, Australian resources. Sanctions would mean lost jobs, closed factories, and recession at home. Leaders had to answer to their own citizens, not just Washington. Many didn't see China as an enemy, preferring engagement over confrontation. They wanted to keep talking to China on issues like climate and health. There was also a desire for independent foreign policy, especially in Europe. The refusal was a declaration of autonomy, a signal that the world wouldn't automatically follow America's lead. The global order was shifting. Germany and South Korea's decisions highlight the global response. Germany, Europe's economic engine, relies on China as its top export market. Car giants like Volkswagen and BMW depend on Chinese consumers. Sanctions would hurt Germany's economy and cost jobs. The German chancellor argued for dialogue and toughness, engage with China, but speak out on disagreements. Cutting ties would mean losing influence. South Korea, a key US ally, faces a similar dilemma. It depends on America for security, but China is its largest trading partner. Companies like Samsung and Hyundai have deep ties to China. Seoul feared economic retaliation from Beijing and argued for regional stability. Refusing sanctions was about balancing security needs with economic realities. Their choices showed the impossible position many US allies face. America saw sanctions as a moral and strategic imperative, a stand for democracy against authoritarianism, but most countries made practical decisions based on their own needs, their priority: economic growth, jobs, and stability for their people. America's request seemed to demand sacrificing prosperity for US geopolitical goals. Washington warned that letting China dominate tech would be a future threat, but for many, immediate economic needs outweighed distant risks. The choice wasn't good versus evil, but crisis today versus possible danger tomorrow. This revealed a growing disconnect between America and its allies. Other nations now see the US as one power among many, not the sole leader. They're making independent choices, based on their own interests. The world is no longer marching to America's drum. The refusal to join sanctions had major consequences. For America, it was a humbling moment. Its influence had limits. The failure forced a rethink of US foreign policy. Some called for more pressure. Others urged listening and compromise. America realized it must align its goals with others to earn support. For China, it was a diplomatic win. Its economic ties translated into political power. Beijing's global trade strategy paid off, but concerns about its policies remained. The episode showed China: it must manage its image. not just wield economic clout. Both nations learned that power now depends on persuasion, not just pressure. The world had changed, and so had the rules of influence. The US could no longer expect automatic support. China couldn't ignore global concerns. The refusal to sanction China marks a turning point in global power. The era of a single superpower is fading. A multipolar world is emerging. Power is now spread among many countries, not just the US and China. Nations can form flexible alliances: security with America, trade with China, climate with the EU. This gives smaller countries more influence and options. Multipolarity brings both instability and opportunity. Without one power enforcing rules, risks of conflict rise. But it also forces major powers to persuade, not dictate. Solutions to global problems now require broader consensus. Secondary players have a bigger voice in shaping the future. The refusal to sanction China showed that even smaller nations can shift the balance. The world's power structure is being rewritten. America's failed bid to rally the world against China defines our era. By 2025, the unipolar moment was over. Many voices, many centers of influence now shape the world. Economics, not just military might, drives geopolitics. Most countries prioritize prosperity over great power rivalry. China's economic clout gives it new influence. America must adapt. US leadership now depends on building consensus, not issuing orders. The world doesn't want a new Cold War, it seeks balance. Nations want to benefit from China's market and America's security. They're carving out a middle path, prioritizing stability and their own interests. The multipolar world is complex and still evolving. Its future will be written by the choices of many, not just one.